Pulselorian, what's up, man?
Hey, senhor.
How are you doing?
Yep, pretty good, pretty good. Again, thanks for reaching out so we can talk a little bit about Pulsechain, crypto, Pulselorian.
100%, man. Thanks for joining me. Really appreciate it. So, what is Pulselorian and when did this idea come about?
Yeah, so we're just another community on Pulsechain. Trying to bring some value to the ecosystem. Um, well, we've been in crypto for a while as investors, but we have a tech background. So been playing with Ethereum like that once we started like diving deep, since 2017, and then followed Richard Hart. Like he's one of the legitimate, honest voices on the space that is trying to bring about what crypto truly represents. So we tended to follow RH and went into the RH ecosystem instead of like looking to deploy a project on other chains, such as like Polygon, Binance, even though they're competitive chains. Um, so we decided to instead of just playing around as investors, why not like since we believe in blockchain and crypto and we stand for the same ideals as RH,
Yeah.
why not deploy our own project and try to build a community for people who are truly into the cypherpunk movement, truly standing for freedom of speech, decentralization, like all the principles in which like good crypto is built on. Because one of the reasons as well is we see so many scams, so many rug pulls, so many exploits, so many bad
Yep.
actors, influencers dumping on their followers, type of thing, that we want to build honest community, honest
Yeah.
project where obviously there will be people, capturing profits and market volatility. Nobody can uh, um, can predict that, because we all know crypto is highly volatile asset. So 95% drops can be expected, in any crypto. But we wanted to make sure that the people know that the project they're in, it has not only it's not only built on sound like tech,
Yeah.
that actually offers some superior value proposition when it comes to like deflation, yield, but all the good principles in which crypto is built on, burned LP, like zero to minimal founder allocation,
Right.
contracts that are publicly verifiable, that have no admin keys. So a contract that you can buy and that it's not going to get rug pulled or anything like that. And there's nobody holding like a huge chunk of the supply that will dump on your heads. Sure, there might be whales, but not like people believe in RH. Obviously, he holds 90% of Pulse Chain, but that's kind of like a one off. When
Yeah.
it's somebody that's not known or doesn't have the reputation, you cannot have that, and that's why we set like zero, minimal like founder allocation.
Right.
So max allocation we had in our projects was 6%, and that's divided between multiple people. So it's actually way less than that than any like developer, could possibly sell. So we just bought in like everybody else into the project.
What do you mean bought in?
Yeah, we just bought in. Like we didn't have like a huge chunk of the supply
Okay.
reserved for
Yeah.
us
Hmm.
right off the bat. So we were just putting in our own money from our own pocket, like everybody else, like every other investor, to make it fair, right?
Hmm.
Um, so so yeah, we built, I'd say like a tremendous ecosystem,
Yeah.
where you have opportunity to earn all different sorts of yields with our token. And we have yield farming and NFTs, and obviously I can go deeper into that depending on like questions you have or like direction. But general gist of what PulseLauran is superior value proposition when it comes to yield, when it
Superior
comes
value
to like
proposition when it comes to
when it
yield.
comes to contracts, in terms of deflation, how
Yeah.
these contract works, and rewarding holders, how this ecosystem is tied together between all of the different moving parts, and and then honest community built on transparency, security, true like cypherpunk movement, you know. So, and I say true superior value proposition, because you see the tokens that are deployed on the network, right?
Yeah.
Majority is like people deploying like meme coins that do nothing, right? So I get it. There's like some that have like a nice, like really big branding or like really funny, but it's not standing apart in terms of like if there's already a meme coin that has a great community, why well I'm gonna buy the 100 other meme coin communities, since it's
Yeah.
all the same contract that does nothing.
Right.
And most of the time, we see contracts that you can't even see what the code is doing. Um, you click the contract, you put it on the block explorer, and boom, yeah, I can't see what this code does. So I would not ever interact with a contract that's not verified unless it's like it's been battle tested over time. It's been like there's a lot of like I mean it's been thoroughly tested in some
Right.
way by the
Right.
community, right? Or what we that's what we see, or like we just see like communities that raise a bunch of money, like millions and millions and millions of dollars,
Yeah.
and even if they deploy the good working product, you don't see any of that money getting funneled back into the ecosystem.
Hey, I've noticed a little bit of that lately.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
99% the money is in their pocket, and then
Yeah.
here's the product, deal
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
Uh, we did like something completely different. We were like truly community within Pulse Chain, building
Okay.
stuff from scratch, developing an ecosystem from scratch, giving value back to the community.
It does
Um,
look like that. It looks like it was built from scratch, like brand new idea and
yeah, yeah, and
concept.
yeah, and we had good people working on it. And like the developer behind the contracts has 30 years of experience programming,
Okay.
leading global tech teams in Fortune 500 companies. So super experienced developer. It's not some guy from Fiverr that we hired. Everything has been meticulously thought out while developing this ecosystem.
Okay.
And we are not like people that hang around on YouTube, do the marketing, wear a funny hat type of thing.
Right.
It's not our personality. We're not good at that
Well,
stuff.
who's we?
So
Like, how big is
so
the
we
team?
it's just a few people.
A
It's just
few
a few
people.
people. Started with 3 devs. Now, right, it's 2 devs.
Okay.
And then
And what's your
and
main
then
role?
couple. I'm the front end dev.
You're the front end
Uh,
dev. Okay.
yeah, and then then we have another dev that does the contracts,
Got you.
and then and then yeah. So and then a few people helping with like ignite the community and stuff. But it's truly a cypherpunk movement. So we
Yeah.
need help. We want to make it successful, like just any other crypto. It's Metcalfe's law. It's community jumping in together, helping chill, helping spread the word, connect it, word of mouth type of thing, and that's what we're trying to do. But we've done pretty much like everything like top notch really when it comes to transparency. Every single contract is public. Every single contract, the ownership is renounced. No admin keys. Every single contract, it launched with a minimal founder allocation. From 0 to 6%, a max, and that's divided between multiple people. So it's like it's even less when you do it by individual. So we're buying these contracts just like any other investor. The LP on all of these contracts, the majority of the PLS LP is burnt, forever. So liquidity will always be there. Um, they even had like an audit for a couple of the contracts, and then since a lot of the contracts are just variations of that initial contract, so we obviously didn't get like an audit there. But yeah, so that list that you're going up there on the top, it's basically all the different sorts of yields you can earn within our ecosystem. So you can basically earn PLS, PLSX, Hex, Inc, EDI, PDI, PWETH, which is essentially PLS, Pepe, all of these different tokens, right? Um, and all in a decentralized fashion. We don't see many ecosystems offering such an array of like opportunities and avenues to earn, and also being so undervalued like our ecosystem is, because we're still, small and growing in an upcoming community. So, and then aside from developing all of these contracts that can yield these assets, we have Yield Farm, which is also part of the ecosystem, which purpose is to strengthen these LPs and throughout different pairs
Okay.
within the ecosystem, and it also has inbuilt governance. So it's actually the community can vote on what goes up on the farm, what should be removed from the farm, emission rate. So the community itself, what we call ourselves a guild of investors,
Yeah.
is actually truly making the decisions. And then a couple of meme coins, but all like unique meme coins where you can stake them. Um, so yeah, we offer like a wide range of like options to earn yield, yield farming, NFTs that pay passive income, uh, regular reflection tokens, single site staking, PLP staking, and it truly, the product like has been delivered like
Yeah.
with care. The ecosystem, it's at a mature stage in terms of development. Obviously we can keep expanding it. We have the technical know-how. Nothing will stop us from in the future implementing like an exchange if we want to, or a lending protocol. But we before doing it, we want to see like demand from the community. If there's a demand for that. Obviously, I mean, we're not
I
gonna
mean,
launch stuff
I mean,
to compete
100%.
with
Like,
good products already out there.
yeah.
So we placed ourselves in competing in this yield token space. That's where we think we have the best competitive advantage,
Oh,
best value proposition to offer, right? And our yield tokens are very unique. So if you want to see how one of them works, for example, if
yeah.
you click on PLS one,
Okay.
Reflux. So, and that's where you come into our token Reflux, right? And
Yes, this is
throughout all of our ecosystem, you also have, all the stats that you need in terms of like supply burned, yield, total yield distributed so far, individual yield distributed. You have like a portfolio tab which you can track your portfolio. It's built with intent. It's not like, oh, we deploy the yield token and deal with it, figure out how much the supply is burned, how much has been distributed. Oh, it's paying rewards, but you don't have any of the stats because people didn't really do that thorough of a job, right?
what do you mean?
So
Who didn't do?
we see yield tokens,
Right.
but like when we look at their websites,
Yeah.
it's just doesn't have the same depth of information, and
Y-
neither are the yield tokens. Um, they don't have the extent of development that our yield tokens have, because they offer additional features of just earning a reward in PLS. So, for example, Reflux, the way it works, which is pretty cool and pretty unique. So far, which is amazing. This was a token that was deployed from scratch, right,
Okay.
for the community,
Okay.
and we already managed to burn 19% of the supply, which is
That's going to be over
crazy.
here. Supply burnt.
Yeah, so we
Okay.
burnt 19% of the supply.
Burn
We managed to
19%.
distribute like 627 million PLS, right? And that's with PLS price, hammered. PLS price doubles. It's like we've distributed almost like $100,000 in reward.
Wow.
Uh,
That's amazing.
for a token that's been launched from scratch, right, with like $500 in liquidity, and at its highest, its peak, we reached almost 150K in liquidity. Right now, the token is significantly down, like many others. It's being an opportunity to accumulate and acquire, sitting at about like 30K liquidity. Um, so yeah, if you expand the chart. Yeah. So it took, and we saw this movement is a couple of whales that exited and caused this downtrend,
Right.
and it's natural part of the market, right?
Yeah.
People who got in, they've since the beginning, they more than paid themselves, and in terms of just the yield they received in PLS.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're holding, you're still accruing PLS yield. So today we had like a 4K volume, and that's like just yield that's being generated for the holders. It's a long-term game, right?
Yeah,
Um,
I mean it's really new,
so
and when I first came across it, the whole project, I was blown away by how well it was thought out, the website, the details,
yeah,
and I just took it as we're very early, and I just think a lot of people
yeah,
maybe didn't know about it yet.
it is indeed like very early, because we had like a meteoric rise, right? And like 2 weeks, it reached a million with that token specifically, right? $1 million cap,
Wow.
and then obviously huge with meteoric rises. People take profit, and
Mm-hmm.
90% dumps are expected, and then started slowly climbing out, and then some reason I think Pulse Chain in general, a lot of the projects just dumped a lot, and now it seems like the whales that dumped, they're pretty much out, and it's a good point of like accumulation. That's when you want to buy, right? Like buy low, sell high. Unfortunately, people want to get in, when like everything is pumping, everybody's talking about it, the green candle is shooting up. But no, you want to accumulate, like
This is
when the price.
technically this is a good this is a great entry right now. I think
Yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of projects
exactly.
right now.
We
Yeah.
noticed, we monitored, some whale wallets, and we noticed that most, I think, or if not, like, I wouldn't say all, but like I feel like 90% it's out,
Yeah.
completely. So they basically can no longer harm the price, right? So
No, this
it's a good.
this is a beautiful place to accumulate. Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I think the challenge with like a smaller communities is like people think they're in the long run there aren't going to people buying these contracts, people supporting, but the whole point is that we're actually here, like legit. We've been here since day one building. We never left. We
Mm-hmm.
never abandoned a single contract,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll keep buying these tokens. Obviously identifying like the opportunities to accumulate, which
Right.
ones we want to buy first individually, right? But the community is loyal. The contracts will be here forever. They're built to last forever. It's like no admin keys, liquidity is burned. Nobody has like a huge portion of the supply. This token specifically has like already 1,000 holders, plus a thousand holders, and almost over 100 liquidity providers. So the liquidity not only burnt but highly decentralized, and that's part of how the token works. If you go back to the website.
Yeah. So,
Um,
can I ask you a question?
so
Uh,
yeah,
have you guys done any marketing yet for
no,
PulseLauran?
we so marketing for us is word of mouth, is
Okay.
community,
Okay.
pushing it forward, shilling, connecting maybe with an influencer, asking to be on their live stream. We don't do like marketing in terms of like, we're gonna pay to be somewhere. We've tried that in the
Right.
past, and it's not good. Nobody cares. They're just there for the money, and just so you're gonna do a bad job shilling because they don't truly believe in the product. So we want, is loyal, true cypherpunk who understand like crypto, like good tech. What's the
Okay.
good tech in crypto?
Got you.
So
And are
that's
you?
what we have.
And you're also you're invested. I mean, probably you have Pulse Chain, and are you into other Richard Hart projects as well, like
Yeah,
Pulsechains
yeah,
Hex
definitely.
and
I like some other projects on Pulsechain too, not
okay.
not only our ecosystem.
Are you a Hex
Um,
staker?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, yeah,
Cool, man.
that's how I got into Pulsechain, right? We knew about Richard before Pulsechain was launched. We
Okay.
both like Pulsechain, Pulsex sacrificers.
Cool,
You
cool.
know, had our hex stakes. Didn't join hex on like day one, but joined when I could.
What do you think?
Um,
What's your opinion on where the overall health of Pulsechain is right now? What are your thoughts about that?
I think Pulsechain is still the best blockchain in crypto, uh, like by a mile.
Okay.
It's the most tried and tested code on on the crypto sphere is basically Ethereum, right? It's the most tried and tested and decentralized code. So we have that, but instead it's cheaper. The community is a real community. It's not a bunch of VCs running pump and dumps. It's not just
100%. Yeah.
Coinbase, trying to ignite their chain, or Solana with their VCs, or Polygon, highly centralized. Founders also hold a huge chunk. I mean, we trust in Richard, right? Richard has a big weight in the ecosystem, but we know he's out there for good, not to like harm. It's like he's proven himself, right? He delivered, great chain, great working chain. Now it's also up for the community to spread a word, keep building, keep developing, because a chain just with hex, it's not gonna be that great. But a chain with Pulselorian, their DeFi protocols with earn protocols, liquid loans, and other meme tokens, DWB, teddy bear, whatever, it creates a more vibrant environment, and it
Right.
creates a lot more avenues for trading and transitioning profits from one project to another, and it helps burn protocols, right? Burn Pulse X.
Yeah.
So, and it's already a pretty vibrant ecosystem with every type of like project that you might need. You have Uniswap v3 type of exchange with 9 millimeters. You have pretty much amazing memes, with DWB, Teddy Bear. You have like excellent yield protocols in terms of like reward tokens, such as ours, Reflection for some people. We have tons of yield farming.
Yeah.
Tons of
Let's start walking through since we started with Reflux.
yeah.
Maybe we'll just stay
So
with this one. Let's. I
yeah.
kind of wanted to.
Sorry for
Let,
deviating.
we can quickly
So
just show
currently,
people what all these mean. I mean, obviously we know price.
yeah, let's
Balance
just
would be
balance.
for,
Yeah, just balance basically, how much you hold liquid or how much you hold in LP.
and obviously
Uh,
when you enter your address, that's when this will populate, right?
no, you connect your wallet, everything will populate.
Okay,
The
got
check
you.
address over there is if you want to check any address on the protocol that holds Reflux to see how much they earned over
Okay,
time. So if you go back, for example, to the Reflux page,
bat
or the address on the scanner.
address on the
Uh,
scanner.
yeah, you had the scanner
Oh yeah, yeah,
open
yeah.
with Reflux. So if you go to holders, maybe get not a contract, but get an address.
Okay,
Get one of these, like bigger addresses.
okay.
They need to be there. Yeah, that would be the biggest one. Maybe get one around the middle,
Get one
or
around
it
the
doesn't.
middle. Okay, let's pick one
Yeah,
around the middle.
doesn't matter. Yeah, just to see how much they earn. Yeah, it could be that one. Yeah.
Oh, this one's about 1%. Okay, that's a good even number. Let's go with this one.
And
Okay.
then you paste in the contract address, and then you exit out, right? Like click out of it. I'd say enter.
What am I doing?
Can you check another address that should
Yeah.
be receiving some
Let me do
tokens?
this one. Okay.
That's strange. Or maybe I need to check that.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure why that address not showing rewards. Maybe it's like a new address. I don't
Maybe it
know.
was a new address or something. Yeah. Okay. So
Or I think
this.
it didn't exit the input. I don't know. But yeah, see, this address earned about like 1,200,000 PLS.
Great.
I don't know for how long or how much they like how long they held that whatever amount. But if you get like let's see, like just like let's get another one. Um, yeah, get maybe like yeah, whichever one, just to see. These are smaller. Uh, Yeah, this one earned about 700,000,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
I think he had way less, so probably holding it for like a bit longer than
Holding
that
it for
one.
longer. Yeah. And
Uh,
then,
so, and obviously that would vary. That's just the historical earnings. He might
right.
have like sold off like a big chunk or
And
like transferred to another
what's
fund.
this accelerator?
So, so this is the thing of our protocols that are like slightly different from other protocols, and I'll dive into the accelerator, but I just want to explain something else
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the way our contracts work, it's a kind of a reflection, yield, reward token, right? So whenever somebody transacts on the buy or sell, there's a, in this case of Reflux, there's a 0.25% burn.
Okay.
So that's what ensures the protocol is getting more deflationary over time, hyper deflationary.
Here. Yeah.
And then there's a 1.75% fee, and that fees gets redistributed to all holders as reward NPLS, right?
Right.
All these fees are only charged
Buy
when
a
you swap,
burn.
never when you
1.25.
transfer. So that's
Okay.
one other important thing.
Okay.
And a distinguishing factor is is that liquidity providers earn two times the rewards in PLS. So if you're providing liquidity, you can also earn these PLS rewards. And
Okay.
the way our contract achieves that is by a share system, right? Um, Whenever somebody buys a
Yeah.
token, they'll receive one share. 10 tokens, they receive 10 shares.
Okay.
And then if they do LP instead, they receive double the amount of shares. That represents how much PLS should be distributed.
So you're going to
Uh,
double your distribution that you receive.
yeah, yeah. So there's also an incentive for liquidity, right? Which strategy is better is it's personal, right?
Oh, that's great. Yeah. We'd definitely
Yeah,
walk through
but,
that
but
section
so you
too.
can, so liquidity is all that matters in the end of the day. It's how much you can buy, how much you can sell,
Okay.
how much liquidity is available there based on your position.
Okay.
So we
Okay.
want to incentivize that the protocol grows stronger, the price becomes more stable,
Hmm.
and over time, and also that whales are not hoarding up their tokens, right, to dump, which happens in many cases in reward type of tokens. You have a whale, and it just continuously keeps accruing more and more and more and more and more, and they'll just snowball, and then everybody who's trying to come in next, it becomes a way harder. So when you incentivize people to provide liquidity, they're still entitled, despite the price movement. Price could like 10x. They'll
Yeah.
still receive their shares are locked in at that moment in time when they added liquidity. So even though they might be suffering some impermanent loss in terms of losing the tokens within their pool, the, their share in terms of this reward system is still the same. So
Oh, got you.
and and then so that's one way we incentivize people, and also it helps like spread the supply out, as people join in, buy, and add liquidity.
Okay.
So
Should
it's a
we walk?
distinguishing factor. You'll see across all different reflection tokens, all reward tokens on Pulse Chain, none have such feature.
Okay.
And then
Let's show everybody right now. Let's say I decide I want to be one of those LPs because I want double the rewards. Walk me through what we would do.
you'd basically just, all you have to do is just like you buy the token on PulseX,
Yeah.
right? You click that little PulseX button on the top right corner.
Yeah. We'd go buy it. Yeah.
A
Oh,
little bit down, actually. Go back. Sorry.
sorry. That's
Uh, Go
so
back.
X is all over the place. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we go to the Pulse X.
This is the PulseX website. Okay. Yeah, you're getting the
Oh,
IPFS
this is
block.
my security on
Yeah.
my computer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably. You're using Brave.
I'm using Chrome, but I have this thing called Avast.
Yeah, I've seen this happen. But yeah, basically, you
Okay.
go to PulseX website. If you go to PulseX
Yeah, I
website,
can just go to Pulse X, right?
uh,
Maybe the link. Let me see. Okay.
yeah,
And
and
you would
then
buy
you're
it.
gonna buy your reflex,
You buy your
and you're
Reflux.
gonna add liquidity.
Okay.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
gonna add liquidity there.
So
Uh,
so how do we'd come over here and click this now?
yeah, it's probably gonna block the
Oh,
IPFS. We can see.
would I go here to farm? Is that another way to do it?
No, no, no. Go to get first. First step would be to get the contract info, right? You can get it from the scanner as you just had.
Yeah.
Uh, I can fix that link, make sure it's accessible.
Okay.
Yeah, get get the contract, go to
Yep.
PulseX,
And go to PulseX. Yeah.
and then just paste, yeah, the contract there. Yeah, and then it's actually already available. You don't even need to do that. It should be available by default on PulseX actually. So if you get just select the drop down and you'll see Reflux there. If you scroll, you'll see type in RFX, you'll see it there. Yeah, by default, it's already selected, right? Um,
It's
yeah,
already
it's
there.
already
Yeah.
selected.
Yeah. We already
Yeah.
have it.
So you're gonna swap some PLS for RFX. You're gonna like invert, like you can select PLS. You're gonna click the arrow, so you're swapping PLS for RFX.
Yep.
You're gonna buy some, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then once you have some in your wallet, now you're gonna add liquidity. You're gonna like go to the liquidity tab instead of the exchange on PulseX
Oh,
itself.
on PulseX itself.
Yeah, you go to
Okay.
liquidity, and you go to V2.
Okay.
That's the pair that we incentivize. It's not V1, it's
Okay.
V2. And
V2.
then you
Okay.
add liquidity.
Got you.
And then you're gonna add RFX and PLS liquidity. And that's
Okay.
all.
That's it.
That's it.
And
Yeah.
and so I'm gonna get now the contract will
PLS
know
rewards straight in your wallet.
double.
No Yeah, double.
It'll
Yeah.
know. The
As
contract just
compared
knows.
to you were holding, if you're holding the token. But there's advantages and
That's easy.
disadvantages,
That's
right?
great.
Like if you're holding the token, if there's a price rise,
Yeah.
you get more of a price gain than if you're in an LP, right? But LP is safer. If it goes down,
Right.
you probably won't lose as much. But if it goes up, you won't gain as much either. So it's just different strategy.
You're talking about a permanent loss. Yeah.
Yeah, and permanent loss.
For your token. Yeah. But your rewards keep
Yeah.
flowing regardless. Unless you're
Yeah.
losing the token to the impermanent loss.
Correct. But remember that like your shares that once you got in, you acquired some RFX or put some into liquidity.
Mm-hmm.
Those shares get locked in time, right? So despite the movement of the market, if the
Right.
market goes way up and you suffer a huge impermanent loss where you don't have any more RFX in your LP, which technically is kind of like good, right? You're DCAing out of your position and you're
Yeah.
having more PLS, which is what everybody wants. But your share for receiving that PLS reward is still the same, regardless of like the movement,
So wait.
And then-
So if I have, let's say, 1,000 RFX, and because of impermanent loss I lose 3/4 of it, but I got Pulse. But you're saying my rewards will still be based on my original purchase of 1,000 RFX?
Correct. Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Now that's
Yep.
because the contract knows that.
Yep.
That
So
is
it's
cool.
a share system, right?
That is cool.
Assume there's like 1 billion tokens out on supply. Obviously, a bunch of have already been burned, can
Yeah.
no longer be acquired. But each token represents one share, and that share in the system is what's proportion of those trading fees you're going to receive as PLS rewards, right?
Yeah.
And then, but if you're adding liquidity, then you have 2 shares instead of 1 share. So you have like more of a weight of that, more of a bigger proportion of those rewards if you're adding the LP. But on the other hand, right, if you're holding the token itself, you have more upside price potential. If you're holding the LP, it's better if like the market is kind of like where it is. You don't there's like the impermanent loss, right?
Right.
The thing is, if the market goes up, it will still have the same amount of shares, right, that you acquired at that very first moment. So let's say where you acquired 1,000 shares,
Yeah.
and these tokens are getting harder and harder to acquire as the price goes up. So there's less and less shares available in the market, right? So that 1,000 shares is actually accounting, even though you had impermanent loss, like some of the RFX that you had in the pool, they're no longer there. What you end up is with a lot more PLS, and then your share of rewards is still like worth a lot more, because you have a bigger weight in the ecosystem.
Because
basically
I got
earlier-
my shares
right?
before they were diluted. That's why. So the
Yeah,
proportion, the
so-
ratio I get is still higher than people buying that same amount later. That's what you mean?
Yeah, because the people who are adding liquidity later, as the
Yeah.
price has already reached a higher level,
Yeah.
they cannot acquire as many shares, right? Than you
Uh,
acquired earlier on.
got you.
Uh, but the fact that the price is higher, your share rate is not changing. It only changes if you remove the LP, and then if you remove the LP, then you're basically not being like good behavior as an investor, right? Providing liquidity, delaying gratification, etc. Then if you remove the LP and then you try to insert the LP again, you no longer have that like share rate that you got
Okay.
at the beginning.
Good
So
to
now you're
know.
resetting your share rate.
Good to know. Yeah.
So, but if you add more LP
Yeah.
uh, from with the LP that you had already added, then
Yeah.
it's just a weighted average. You're
Okay.
getting a little bit more shares and stacking up on top of your shares.
So,
Uh,
and this what you just explained works for any of these earn. So you want teddy bear, you want incentive. It's the same.
correct,
I buy it.
correct.
I go through the LP process. I pair it
Yeah,
with Pulse.
yeah,
Same rules apply.
yeah. They might have minor discrepancies in terms of burn, in terms of like the percent fee.
Okay.
So like in Reflux, you saw it's like was a 1.75%, or like
1.75 and quarter burn. I think it
yeah.
said, yeah.
So yeah, and these are all these fees within the contract. There's a hard limit, hard coded on the contract where they can never be raised above 5%. So meaning like obviously these fees are also adjustable via our governance contract by the community. So let's say if the community decides that it needs to, like, let's say the token had a super huge rise, and we want, if anybody's going to start selling it after that huge rise, we want
Yeah.
to make sure that instead of charging a 1.5% fee, charge 5% fee, to really reward the true holders. So that's
Okay.
adjustable via our governance within the community.
Okay.
If you go back
Hang
to
on.
Flux,
So what you're saying is like you could the token 1000x's. You could change
yeah,
the 1.5% sell fee to 0.5%.
a max of 5.
You
Yeah,
could
it
you
could be
could oh you could
2.5%,
increase it to
2%.
5%. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, to a max of 5%. Because then,
Okay.
like you imagine, after a huge pump, people will sell, right?
Right.
Like that's what you suppose. And then, so if people are selling, you want to make sure that the true holders are getting the most benefit, and getting the
Yeah.
most reward on that sell. Because
So
it's whenever somebody sells that the contract starts distributing the rewards to holders, right?
and who gets to decide those kind of decisions?
The community, the
The
community.
the
So,
community?
yeah. Uh, but mostly for our newer contracts. Reflux was our first contract, so I think Reflux, we're not able to change that. But for the newer contracts, we introduced like new features on the protocol where these are adjustable by the community via our governance contract. So basically, we can put up a proposal to change a fee on a particular token or change the fee structure, the burn, always to a max of 5, right? We can't go beyond that because we don't want to, like, just these huge tokens that take a huge slippage, and it's just, I think that just harms investors. Uh, but but yeah, it's voted via governance, so it's decentralized. We put a
So
proposal up.
so if you
Uh,
increased, let's say we decided, okay, we want to increase the sell fee, or it's right now. Let's say on this one we're on InkX, it's 2%, right? So half
yeah,
percent buy and burn, and 1.5, or no, how does that work?
it's a 5% burn on buy and sell. They're 0.5%, and then a 5.5% buy fee, and then a 1.5% sell fee. Uh,
So let's say
on
you increased it by to
to
whatever.
5%.
Let's say, how would
Yeah.
that now distribute?
So we would have to put up a proposal, right? A proposal would be live for 7 days.
Okay.
People would vote.
Okay.
We can go on into that like later on as we dive deeper into the ecosystem. People can vote,
Yeah.
and then once that proposal period ends, which is about 7 days, anybody can execute the function, which keeps it decentralized, right? And then the function automatically modifies this particular feature on one of our contracts.
Okay.
which is only the governance role can modify.
But then how does that means how does that just affect the holders of the token then who are still holding?
So
We get
the
more?
the drop no yeah so the drawback of like having a higher fee structure
Yeah.
on a yield token is that you're disincentivizing people from trading, because now they need more of a profit to
Right.
make a trade, right? But on the positive side, if somebody does sell or does buy, there are more rewards coming in as rewards to the holders, right? So it's a fine balance.
Okay.
From our experience within our ecosystem, we believe that around a 1.5% fee is 2% fee is good enough, where it gives like a good amount of rewards, but it also allows for trading to happen, when people to move their funds without feeling like, oh shit, I'm gonna like I took a hit of 5% on the buy, and now I'm gonna take a hit of 5% on the sell. And most, if you go back to like Reflux, just to give you like more into the features of one of the questions you asked, because all of these tokens, right? It's great. It's not like necessary, but it's great when people trade, right? Because that's what generates the yield.
Right.
And so this ecosystem is built with a web of LPs in mind, right? And
Okay.
that's incentivized via our yield farming. So we know there's R bots on Pulsechain, and these R bots, they look at price discrepancies between different pairs, and if there's a chance to make a profit, they'll come in and snag that profit. But once they do that, what they're doing is within our ecosystem, they're helping burn the protocol, right? And they're helping make a transaction to distribute like a tiny reward to holders in PLS and PLSX and Inc, whatever token you're holding.
Are there any maps that people can see
Yeah,
what the
and
major pairs?
yeah, and so if you keep that like fee structure really high,
Okay.
now bots might not come in as frequently
All
because
right.
they need a high price movement, so they can see some profit there.
Got you.
So keeping the fees that are like one from a 0.5% to 2%, it's usually like what we identified works best
Got you.
for giving room for nice amount of rewards, but giving room for like activity in the network where not stifling people from trading.
Okay.
These problems with these like super high tax tokens. We all know like some competitors, and I'm not going to cite any names, but it's like let's say you have like a 25% fee on sell. Now like nobody sells, and then there's like no transactions, and then there's no fees.
Yeah.
So
That's cool. It makes sense. You
yeah,
want the
so
movements and
and that's fine, right? The market will play its movement, right?
yeah.
Some people will give up along the way. They don't have the patience. They cannot delay gratification. They will sell. Once they sell, it's distributing rewards to the true holders, and now true holders, they have actually a better entry point, where they can acquire more and help sustain the price, because they're the ones holding. They're the ones delaying gratification, right? Meanwhile, the protocols are getting more scarce. There's more liquidity providers, because you're incentivizing liquidity, and people want to add liquidity when the price is low, right? Um, so yeah, that's kind of how the protocol works. Let me know if anything was not clear. I know I tend to rush,
I
but
think that
going back
totally made
to
sense.
Accelerator, which you mentioned,
Yeah.
um,
It's on
it,
all of the tokens. There's a accelerator protocol. Tell us how that
yeah.
works.
So if you scroll up a little bit, yeah, so that's another innovative feature that only present in our ecosystem when you
Okay.
compare like these blue tokens, and that another reason why we say okay, we're the best when it comes to these types of tokens. Um, it's yeah, we have a accelerator contract, and all that is basically a contract that's pre-funded or funded by the community. Anybody can send funds to it if they choose to do so, but it's pre-funded on launch, and it's basically a holder like anybody else, right? Except it has like a pretty big position. See, this one has around 2.5% of the supply there, 2.6 actually, and then it has a lot of LP there as well. So it's kind of like a whale, right? It's accruing a bunch of rewards, a bunch of PLS rewards, just like any other holder. But instead, this is a contract. It's not an address, right? And as a contract, once this PLS rewards reaches a threshold, see there's an acceleration in progress. It's kind of halfway. Once it's like 100%, then it means like it has enough PLS there to actually buy more tokens or add more tokens to liquidity. And once that acceleration becomes available, a little button will pop up on the screen and anybody can call it, making it like decentralized. And they'll be, they'll receive a tiny, reward for compensating for their gas costs. But they're basically executing a function on this contract is basically buying and burning the token. And this is basically a programmed benevolent whale that will never sell. It'll just keep gobbling up supply. And with their rewards that they received in PLS based on the shares that they have in the system, then they'll just keep, buying more or adding more to liquidity. So buying more or adding more to liquidity.
So this number should technically be going down.
What do you mean?
Because it's gonna burn them, right?
Yeah.
So this number goes down.
Yeah, and that number may be misleading because we have two different types of burn in the protocol. That's the burn that you pointed out that the supply is going down, but then we have the burn of like the accelerator. What's in the accelerator, nobody can remove out of the accelerator, so it's essentially considered burnt as well. So.
And what about this?
Yeah, so
it says contract acts as benevolent whale. That's what you just explained, because it uses the accrued rewards to the buy and burn the liquidity or add liquidity, causes a snowball effect in the long run. How does it accelerate? What tells it to accelerate?
So as I said, for example, right now there's about 2.6% and some LP there in this contract, right?
Okay.
It's accruing rewards. It already accrued about 50,000 PLS there.
Yeah.
Once let's say it reaches 100,000, I believe that 100,000 is the threshold for this accelerator and for this token in particular. It will use this 100,000 PLS to buy more RFX or add more effects to liquidity within the same contract. So it'll keep growing, right?
Okay.
And as it's a whale and it keeps growing over time and never sells, it will still keep like getting more of these PLS rewards, right?
Gotcha.
Which can be added back into the accelerator. So it's constantly removing rewards out of the market. Okay. But it's also putting up for sale in the liquidity, right? Because we don't want it to gobble up all of the supply. So once the supply is at a good point, the accelerator will say, there's also another threshold that will say, now instead of buying up the token, start adding the token into liquidity.
Got you.
And then, once this acceleration progress reaches 100%, a button pops up. You'll no longer see that. And that's when anybody can call the accelerator.
Right.
So they'll click like their MetaMask will pop up, they'll confirm, and then they're actually executing that buy and burn, which makes it decentralized, right? It's not like it's basically somebody is executing that function on the contract, right? Anybody can execute it, right? But it's not like we can decide, when to use those rewards in some manner because the code doesn't allow that,
And how do you use this ROI calculator?
That's just like that's just an estimate, based on like how much reflux you have and how much volume you expect daily. You can kind of, and whether you choose to compound those PLS rewards or not, how much could you expect in terms of an ROI, in terms of yield solely on these protocols. So
what's your daily volume right now of RFX?
Right now it's 4,000, but you have to keep in mind that we had days with like 100,000 volume in the beginning, right?
So
and obviously there's days
number.
a lot less volume. Yeah, and then you put like 4,000 below, and then you choose whether you want to compound, your rewards to buying more reflux, which in turn will generate more rewards, and then you can calculate the ROI. Click calculate ROI, and then that's kind of like NPLS rewards kind of ROI you could expect.
Based on the price of PLS right now today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
based, yeah.
So that's great. I
Yeah,
mean, if you only put in this much, you'd get, is that 1 million of the
yeah,
Reflux,
yeah,
and with the
yeah,
volume right now, which is which is down, it's a brand
yeah,
new
yeah,
token, literally.
yeah. But
You're
again, this is a very rough estimate.
It's a rough
It's a
estimate. Okay.
calculated just for you to play around. Nobody knows what the volume be like. It could be like way more. It could be way less. It could be very like significantly
Well,
between
it's
days. Yeah, and if you put in like a 40,000, like it's and if you compound those, these protocols, if they grow, if we manage to get like a super huge community, they can be like have a like meteoric rise, basically, such as we've seen, right? We saw like a Reflux one from $0 to $1 million in like 2 weeks, in 10 days, basically, when we launched.
right.
And obviously, people on Pulsechain, they're always chasing the next new shiny thing, constantly. So there's a lot of movement, a lot of competition. But what we want to assure, like our guild, our community, is that there are people here who believe in these protocols long run. They'll stick around, they'll keep buying, and eventually it gets the price where people start accumulating again. It gets
Right. Right.
interesting. The cycle repeats, right? So
So let me ask you
So
those.
yeah,
Let
there's
me.
a data PLS is down, right, a lot, right, today. So
PLS is down today.
I think so.
Oh, right, right. Yeah, it is. Price is down a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, actually, it started going
It
up
it
right
it
now.
it, it bounced. It bounced off that support.
It did a good bounce.
Um,
Yeah, but yeah, it's doing pretty well today. Uh, it's going up against PLS today.
yeah, we came off this support down there, and well, yeah, it's just kind of bouncing at the bottom here. We'll see. We'll see if it holds.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, our contracts are built with like this, add liquidity, support the protocol, delay gratification. You're gonna be earning PLS, which is the best token in the market. So you have to think about that. You could be earning that 30% yield in a year just by holding the token,
yeah,
right? A token that's deflationary,
yeah,
that's only exists less in the market, and not only that, the PLS price could skyrocket as well. So that yield that you're earning could also become way more valuable in the future,
100%,
right?
hundred
And the
percent.
protocol itself is bonded with PLS. Obviously, if PLS fails, we all fail, as like
Yeah.
every single project in the community fails.
Yeah, so
But
let's talk about like the big pros and cons. Like my curiosity was like, okay, we're decentralized. Pulse is decentralized over all these validators all over the world. Where are you located, and where can you be turned off or turned on?
the PulseLauran ecosystem,
Yeah, where can it be shut down?
no, it's completely decentralized, right? There's no admin keys. We're not a node that's distributing these rewards. These rewards are being distributed based on the demand for this contract, right? People who
Okay,
believe that the price could go up and they're willing to trade it, buy or sell.
okay,
Whenever they're buying or selling, a fee is getting
yeah.
redistributed to all holders. So this cannot be shut down. And all of
So
these
even if
fees, they get
even if like let's
deposited
say
automatically. Yeah, they
yeah,
get
it's from the
deposited
contract, but
automatically.
if the SEC was, let's say, coming down, wow, they already are, and they started going after projects, are we as holders of
Well,
PulseLorian, are we vulnerable, and can they tell you like, hey, you need to turn it off, or
no, yeah, first of all, we can't turn it off because it's a decentralized network, right?
okay,
So we can't
tell
turn
people
it.
what that means, who are like, what does that mean? Tell them what that means.
If you go to our homepage,
Yeah.
if you go back to the homepage, and this helps explain a little bit of the ethos behind PulseLauran. If you scroll all the way down, if you see there, it's our decentralization is what we stand for. Is like all PulseLauran products are decentralized protocols with no admin keys and burnt liquidity. All of our contracts, the code is public and verifiable, so there's no team and no organization behind PulseLauran. Anyone is welcome to enable a front end or build contracts to interact with protocols. It's an individual community effort for those who believe called speech, and speech is a protected human right. And together, basically, we make a stand against the fiat system, right?
So for people that are like, okay, I'm totally new. I don't even know what decentralized means. Does that mean that this is running off a lot of nodes all over the world?
Correct. Yeah, it's running on like the Pulsechain network, right? Which
It's
is
running on the
basically the
Pulse chain.
same as the Ethereum network,
Okay.
which is running on, very decentralized, running on like several nodes
Okay.
around the world. And to shut it down, which you'd probably have to shut down the entire network, or would have to basically destroy the ecosystem. I think our biggest
What's your biggest threat? Yeah.
biggest weakest point is just RH holding a lot of coins, but like RH has proven to be benevolent actor.
Right.
And people who are trading with our protocols, they don't need our website as well. Our website is just a front end to facilitate looking at stats.
It's just the front
Because
end.
when you're buying or adding liquidity in our protocols,
Mm-hmm.
uh, those rewards are coming into your wallet. No gas fee, no clicking buttons, stake here, unstake there,
Mm-hmm.
claim rewards. None of that is needed, right? We
It's
built
easy.
that with intent that makes this like easy as possible to onboard people. You buy up the token, you start receiving PLS in your wallet over time.
I started with Caviar. It was one of the first videos I ever made on my channel, and I've been earning Hex. And I got the Ink one, I've been earning. They've just been coming in my wallet, and it's just filling up.
Yep,
Yep.
yeah,
I
and
don't do
this is
anything.
amazing. I'm glad you're part of the community, and like attitudes such as yours, which is like it's crypto, right? Nobody's gonna come and save us. We have to put in the work. We have to spread the word. What we do have is like powerful tech that if people choose to adopt can like change people's lives, right? We've seen like thousands and thousands of dollars getting distributed as rewards. We've seen whales cash out, tens of thousands of dollars in profits, which is basically the protocol working, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Part of
a
the game.
cycle. Yeah, so nobody needs our front end. Their front end is just there to facilitate. Front end goes down. Anybody can build a new front end, or anybody can use the Pulse chain or several other explorers to execute any functions if they need. But it's all built like with decentralization, long term perspective in mind, right?
Right. Right.
And built
So
for the people that believe in our age. Yeah.
so So for people watching and who are just learning about decentralization, or even to people who are like, well, I'm over it, everyone says decentralization, how do we really know you are? What are the ways that they can kind of
Ensure that
shit test you and look
decentralized.
under your hood and know, okay, he's telling the truth. It really is,
Yeah,
the
that
contract is
that's
verifiable. Where
right.
should they look?
That's a good point. So if we go to Reflux, for example,
Okay, let's go to Reflux. Go back.
uh, so if you go to Reflux or any other token, what people usually do is like you have to scroll up, like you have to click the contract, right? Yeah, click the link. I think. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
going to
you
be
have to
blocked, right? Because my
badges
see, I'm
in the
paranoid too. We
Explorer.
talked about
Yeah,
this
that's
earlier.
when people need to be like it's blockchain. We also have it's new tech. We're all learning, right? We all have to do, but
I
maybe access it from the deck screener.
I want to turn
So
off my security, but I actually don't even know how right now.
get the deck screener link,
Uh,
and then I think it can like send you to the can paste the contract. Get the deck screener like little icon next to the PulseX icon. Yeah, and if you type in RFX there,
yeah, let's copy and paste it from there. Okay.
yeah, and then if you scroll down, you get like you can access see if you can access the Explorer for the RFX pair. There's like the or you copy the contract and paste it on the Explorer. There's Explorer there. Yeah, or if it's gonna block you as well. No, it did not. So I might have to update the link on the website. You see the contract, there's a green
Mm-hmm.
tag. Everybody should be looking into this, right? Green tag, and if you scroll down,
Mm-hmm.
it means you can see the code. There's our code.
There's the
That's
code.
what the contract is. So if anybody wants to spend the time, see what the contract is doing, see if there's any malicious functions in the contract, they can look. We have nothing to hide, and that's why we made all contracts public. That's also why we believe that when people are publishing open source code, people can build better stuff. They can look at the code, add a new feature. That's how all these blockchains and projects are evolving. When you're hiding code, you're not being transparent with your users.
Right.
Either you're doing something shady, either you don't know what you're doing where you cannot verify the contract, or either you're a genius and you're like hiding code, that you don't want people to copy. So there's basically those three instances. And so, yeah, if you go back to that, you click the contract, you see there's a read and write like functions. Read means you can read like data like from the contract, like balance off an address, like fees, whatever,
Right.
And then if you scroll down, you should see like probably not. I think maybe Reflux. It doesn't have like an admin, like a owner role by default.
Manager
see
role?
it. Yeah, that's probably manager role, which is probably delegated to our governance contract. And then so maybe click on Vortex contract. Oh, there, owner. Sorry, I saw it. Owner.
I did see.
If you click owner,
yeah.
16. See, the owner is the burn address. So the burn address, nobody owns it. Means the ownership is renounced, right?
Okay.
It means like I don't have access to the burn address, so I cannot use the burn address to go into the write contract. See write contract.
Yeah.
And then actually execute one of these functions that changes like set fees, for example.
Okay.
So
So how is it that when we talked about the burn or the buy sell tax, who can adjust that then?
It's the governance contract, because even though it doesn't has an owner, it has an admin that can execute that particular function, and the admin would be the governance contract, which is another part of our ecosystem that if you go back to our website, I can explain that a little bit more.
Okay.
So it's a new feature that we just introduced. So a lot of our contracts, not all, because we developed this ecosystem over time, we added new features, but a lot of them have ability to do minor tweaks, but only admin stuff. Nothing that can like get users funds or like stop the contract. It's just minor stuff, like maybe changing the fee from 1.5% to 2%, and that's pretty much it.
Right.
So you have a DAO there. If you close a pop-up, there's a DAO, and that's what we added. So it's a decentralized autonomous organization, is a way that people can vote on the blockchain with their own tokens to decide on the future of the ecosystem, right? So if we read this prompt, I don't want to bore the viewers, but if you scroll up and read, it's basically, what is a DAO? Decentralized autonomous organization. It allows people to vote via the blockchain, and it operates autonomously using the smart contracts, right? Okay. So once a proposal is submitted, it will be available for voting for 7 days, kind of status pending. You can vote for or against. And once this period expires, which is basically the current block in the Pulsechain ecosystem being greater than the end block of the proposal, anybody, a button will pop up, like as you can see, anybody can go there and execute the proposal. That is effectively the governance contract is effectively modifying one of the functions on the other contracts, right? So for example, this current proposal, you see the first proposal there that people can vote on is this proposal adds a new farm for Elixir P.LP with 3x allocation and 2% staking and staking fees. And people can vote on whether they want to add this pool to our yield farming, or they say like, no, this is not a good pool. This is not going to favor the ecosystem in the long run. I'm going to use my Elixir, which is our incentive token for our farms, to vote against. So, and all you have to do is hold the elixir in your wallet. And basically, if you have 100,000 elixir, that's worth 100,000 votes, you know? And once the period expires, see, right now, as everybody's voting in favor.
I need to get some elixir. What's going on?
Yeah, the
I'm missing
elixir
out
is,
here.
it's an incentive token. So it's kind of like ink, right?
Yeah. So people
But
sell it off. Yeah.
yeah, people add the liquidity in our farms, right? If you go to our yield farming, if you go back to the website, it might
Okay.
be easier to explain.
But this is super
Uh,
cool. This is really cool. This is awesome. I
yeah,
didn't
because we
and
want
look
to
and
make
look at
sure
how
that
many
this
people are
is,
voting. Like for the select, you had 28,000 people vote.
no, that's 28,000, the balance of elixir. So
Okay.
if you hold 10,000 elixir, that's 10,000 votes, you know? It's basically
Okay.
you vote with your balance, right?
Okay.
If you're a
How many
whale,
people?
you
How
might
many
have
people do you
like a
think
bigger.
voted? How many people voted? Do we know?
You can check on the blockchain. I
Okay.
don't know as of now,
But
but
it's
if
cool.
you dig into the governance track contract, you can check. Maybe
Okay.
we can include that like number of wallets that voted. If you scroll up, if you go to farm,
Farm. Okay.
so this is our farm, right?
Yeah.
So we
Oh,
want to incentivize that
this is beautiful.
liquidity in these protocols are strong, right? And we have liquidity throughout different pairs because that brings in bots trying to arb, creates the burn, helps distribute the yield.
Okay.
So we incentivize people to add liquidity by giving them the Elixir incentive token, which again in turns is a governance token for the ecosystem, right? And then they can vote on proposals as like can change the emission rate on the farms. You can remove a particular farm. You can add a different farm. You can change the fee structure on one of the tokens, etc.
Right.
And then Elixir is also a no fee token, right? So for people that complain that our ecosystem only has, tokens that have fees, now you have like Elixir, which has no fees, and we also have like Papel has no fees. Uh, but the interesting factor is about Elixir is that although it's an inflationary token, which is getting printed, right, to distribute to all of these liquidity providers as an incentive, for having some skin in the game. Um, a lot of our accelerators, as these tokens are generating rewards,
Yeah.
they're actually being used to buy and burn Elixir as well. And there's also like proposals that can be voted on. So the accelerator, it's buy and burning a token that's inflationary as well right now currently. So if you scroll up, it's an inflationary token, but if you see right at the top, it has already burned over 20% of its supply, and that's based on like it's all decentralized. It's based on like the movement within our ecosystem. Tokens trading generates some yield. Part of that yield also gets used to buy and burn Elixir.
Wait a minute. There's total
So
supply is only 2 million, and
yeah,
you've burnt
yeah,
20% of the supply.
yeah. Yeah, which is pretty cool, right? Everybody's like scared of yield farming because it's just, oh, you're going to provide liquidity and then people are going to dump the token forever, right?
Yeah.
And then it's going to be worthless and people are going to remove the liquidity and it's going to die. In our case, it's like a little bit different. There's also positive buy pressure coming into Elixir to counter this inflationary pressure, right? And it's been doing pretty well because it burned 20% of the supply, So 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 yeah, we not only have like tokens itself that like I think it's like EWAC. I think EWAC, like I don't know which token exactly, I don't remember top of mind, but it burns part of the fee, a little bit of the fee, it goes to buy and burn Elixir. Some accelerators are burning Elixir. So,
You walk earns
so
you teddy bear, by the way.
yeah, it's the one that yields teddy bear.
And we got a lot of teddy bear fans out there. So
Yeah,
put
so
them in.
it's all about building like a cohesive ecosystem that's tied down together. Like these protocols are working together through a web LP to burn each other to help distribute yield. And there's a yield farming that provides incentive for liquidity, where the incentive token is also being burnt out of the market, and then it's also governed by the community itself through proposals, all in like
Awesome.
decentralized fashion.
So it's
So
all running kind of it's decentralized, and if
yeah,
you guys were to leave, go away,
yeah.
disappear, this still runs like Hex or
This
something.
somebody, yeah. So for the yield farming, you'll have like the block explorer, right?
Yeah,
Like every single like function, stake, unstake, approve. That's all available on the block explorer or other block explorers, right? Um, as I showed, there's read and write functions.
yeah.
Probably just need a dev to like build a new front end, but like even if you don't have the front end, you can unstake or stake your funds. You might need to have a little bit of like help from somebody who not because newbies probably won't know that they need to go into the block explorer, access that write function or read function, but basically, for, I'm talking specifically to the yield farming where you have like unstake and unstake, right? For the tokens itself, it's all good. You don't need a front end at all. You'll still keep receiving your rewards. All you need to do is add liquidity. You don't have any stake and
So
stake functions.
so
This
the
would be
f-
just for the yield farming. But
yeah
actually,
so the front
we
end, if I can ask a really
uh,
quick question, the front end is not the same front end like, let's say, for PulseX, like, because it could be turned off, the front end, not the code, but
yeah, the front end can be turned off, but not the code.
because
Yeah,
can
exactly.
PulseX
But
be turned off, the front end?
yeah, I mean, right now Richard helped decentralize it, like so people who downloaded the
We
file, they can
downloaded
run
it,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, they can run it on their PCs, the front end,
Can you
which
guys do
is,
something like that too, or would that be something you'd
I
consider,
mean,
and would that be
in,
good or
in the
bad?
future. But like, so our front end is already available within the Block Explorer, right? The Block Explorer is in fact a front end. You just have it to go into, like, if you go back to the Block Explorer,
Yeah.
uh, you all you have to do is there, it's right there, like write contract, there's
Hmm.
like see approve, there will be like if you paste in the yield farming contract, there will be a approve, there will be stake unstake, and then you just have to pass in the parameters, the amount that you're unstaking, which is the address, etc., right? So
Got you.
that
Got you.
that itself is a front end. So if our front end goes down, people can still access and unstake and all of their funds. But I was going to be add something else is that Hocus Pocus project on Pulsechain, they actually have our farms up in their UI as well.
I've never heard of this.
They
Hocus
have a pretty
Pocus
good yield find Hocus Pocus Finance.
Finance. Okay.
Yeah,
Hocus Pocus Finance.
like if you go
Learn
if
something
you
new.
go to their website,
Why is there no website?
maybe there's no website there, but like type in let me see if I have their website name.
Hocus Pocus. Hawk. HOC. Huh.
Yeah, Hocus Pocus Finance. Yeah, Hocus Pocus Finance is their website.
Is this HOC? Hawk.
Yeah,
Is that their
and
marketing?
then let me go
It's their
back.
marketing team. Right on.
Go if you go to a web page,
Yeah.
yeah, and you type in Hocus Pocus Finance. And you go
Okay.
HOC app, and then I think it go to that farming wizard up top in the center. Accept, and then if you click that menu on the top left, I believe, no, maybe not that. Maybe it's the
Wow.
but maybe just search PulseLauran there. If you scroll up, I know they have like a searching capability. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, see, it
Beautiful.
has like some of our farms, maybe
Mm-hmm.
not all, but like available there. But it's just somebody built a front end, and simply they access the functions that are already there present
Right.
on the
Right.
contract, which is public, and it's on PulseX, and anybody can build a
Are
front
Are
end.
you a
But
fan of this kind of stuff when people do this?
Yeah, I think it's good.
It's good.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's more avenues for people to like reach into your project. Maybe somebody who's chasing yield and they don't know about Pulselorian, but they might know about Hocus Pocus.
Hmm.
They they will look into the Hocus Pocus app and they might see that the Pulselorian pool has a good yield, and then they'll probably get to know about Pulselorian because of that. So I think that's good. Like even if you go back to the Pulselorian website, we've put other farms of like third party projects, you know, because sometimes people chase yield. Um, and then that could like bring people in and like
Do you
stick
have a
around.
do you have a
It's just
favorite? Do you have a favorite farm here?
I've been trying to I've been trying to add like uh I've been trying to add more Elixir pairs, any token that's paired with Elixir,
Hmm. Beautiful.
because so Elixir is a token that we have in our ecosystem gets minted, right? So there's constantly an emission of Elixir. So if we manage to build our LPs where we're pairing Elixir with every single one of our tokens,
Yeah.
and Elixir has no trading fees,
Yeah.
it will create a web of LP with no trading fees that it makes it easier for bots to come in and trade through these tokens, creating some arbitrage, creating some burn, creating some yield. So
Where's the emission schedule? Is there a map or a link on the website where you
if
can
you
see it?
scroll up,
Yeah.
there's like there it shows there the mint rate is 0.1 per second on the top
Yeah.
left.
Yeah. Yeah. 0.1 per second. Okay.
Yeah, and that is something that can be voted on the farm. Let's say if we
That's
want
cool.
to make it more inflationary, give it a boost to attract more people,
Hmm.
you know, we could mint zero point 0.2 per second, you know, but voted via proposals on our DAO. Uh, so it's actually, you know, a farm that's truly in control of the community. Um, you know, like for like PulseX currently, it's basically, you know, the farm, you know, Richard wants to remove a pool, wants to add a pool, he can do it, right?
Right.
Um, so our farms, we were doing that, but then recently we introduced the DAO. So very recently, it's just like maybe last week or so that we added the DAO, and we're starting to move it to like now the guild controls, you know, the farms, and they can decide which pools they want to see, which pools they want to remove. You know,
Okay.
all voted on like via the blockchain
What's your favorite reflection
token.
token? Do you have a
I
favorite?
like
Do you have a favorite?
Yeah, I like Reflux. I like Vortex. I like the
Reflux,
tokens that
Vortex.
earns like, you know, the most valuable tokens
Okay. InkX.
on Pulse chain, which is like Pulse, right?
Hmm.
PLSX. I
Hmm.
like InkX, and also like yeah. So those are I like Wealth a lot, and this is kind of crazy because I
Wow.
don't think a lot of
Wrapped
people,
ETH?
yeah, wrapped
No,
ETH
proof of
is,
work.
and it's sitting at like a ridiculously like low cap. So if anybody, you know, anybody who has like a little bit more money who wants to snag a whale position and like take over the project and start chilling on his own, could do it, you know. But because Wealth, it yields wrapped ETH, and wrapped ETH is essentially PLS, right? It's 1-to-1 with PLS. So you basically have a token that it's sitting at like, you know, ridiculously low cap that anybody can like with a little bit of funds can say, hey, this token is now mine. I'm gonna start buying it up. I'm gonna, you know, have a huge chunk of the supply where, you know, I have make sure that the tokens in my hands, and I'll just take over this project and I'm gonna start shilling it because it's basically like a reflux. It's WETH is essentially PLS, right?
Because,
If you check the WETH chart against PLS, you'll see it's 1-to-1. It never moves.
right, wrapped ETH. And that price is, what is it at now? 2,800? No, I don't know. What's it at?
It's a PLS price. It's essentially 1-to-1 with PLS. So if
Really?
you earn one WETH, it's like you're earning one PLS.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, PWETH. If you go to PulseX, go to PulseX. Um, and then go to the exchange, select it select WETH, type in, yeah, and then get that second one, the WETH from Pulsechain,
Okay.
and then paste the contract address, copy the contract address, and then now go to deck screener, and then type in that address and check it against PLS. Yeah, that one. Yeah, and look at the chart against PLS. You're
What?
checking it against USD. Look at the chart against PLS.
It is.
If you
With PLS. No.
no, there's like price, market cap on the corner, up top, up top, in the middle.
I'm
There's
sorry.
like price
So,
on the chart section, on
yeah.
like the where you select the time range
Oh, okay.
and
I'm
the
trying.
candle.
There you
Yeah, yeah. See, it's 1-to-1 with PLS.
go. Ah. Oh, interesting. That was
Yeah.
interesting.
So it's
Wow.
essentially PLS. You'll always be able to trade it 1-to-1.
Oh, I know. I know. Oh, this is the Sunny token, WETH, part of the Meth Lab.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think they have like similar like type of project. But again, they don't offer liquidity for incentive. They don't have like yield farming. They don't have accelerators.
No. Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
But
that's really cool. That's
so
really interesting. WETH.
yeah,
Okay. Wealth.
yeah, and I think people don't realize that. So, and like it's sitting at such a small project that if somebody was like influenced, or a couple of whales decide to act together and
Yeah.
like start taking over the project, now they can like start shilling it, and have a huge chunk of the supply, and basically they're going to be earning PLS, if they manage to push forward that project. What we're doing is essentially like pushing good code, solid decentralized principles onto Pulsechain. Whether people want to use it, make it succeed or not, like it's up to them. Obviously, we believe in our code, we believe in our project, we'll always keep buying it up. But the more people we have believing, the better.
Does I mean I think yeah, exactly. And it sounds like you guys haven't done a lot of promoting yet, and there's
Yeah.
influencers are just
And
kind of
we need the
growing and
help
starting on
of
Pulsechain too. So
yeah, we need the help of the community
the community,
to
yeah,
do that.
and it's just growing. We're young.
Yeah.
So on a regular basis, does the front end require you guys to push buttons or really do anything, or
No, I mean
okay,
the way it is right now, it's pretty. Might have to like update a link like we
okay?
saw, and then
So you take
I'll
off to
update that.
Tijuana for 6 months, you vanish, and well, you go on a bender. It's doesn't need you to.
No, the front end is gonna be there. All
Okay,
I have to
great.
do is pay like $20 like
Yeah.
hosting fee.
The bull run
Um,
comes, and then people take off on these benders, and then they vanish for 6 months.
yeah, but the tokens itself, as I said, like don't even need a front end. The front end is just to facilitate viewing stats. Maybe for a yield farming, you'd like need a front end, right?
No,
But you
we
can
need it. We
still
need
do
it.
it with the blog explorer. The NFTs, you don't need a front end like they're claiming. See, there's an accelerator button popped up there. Um, if you scroll down a little bit, that's what you see. It seems like the acceleration is ready there. So if you call that, you're gonna gain a little bit of like you know uh,
Okay.
PLS, and that's an NFT has also an accelerator contract. The
Cool.
NFT is funded. See, it has about 7.5% of the supply of Vortex,
Uh-huh.
and it keeps accruing PLS X, and then once is accelerated, it distributes that PLSX to the NFT holders.
Okay.
And then if
Gotcha.
you scroll down a little bit, if you untoggle that all NFTs to all NFTs instead of all NFTs, you can check out like our NFTs and how they're looking.
These are the NFTs.
Yeah. The NFTs is more of like a community thing. Give it a identity.
Yeah.
People who believe in the project, they'll buy some.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whenever they're buying, it's essentially removing VRX out of the market, which is pretty cool too. Um, and but being honest, like the PLSX gains will always be bigger, a lot higher if you're just holding the token itself or providing OP.
Yeah.
but the NFTs help with like the identity of the project. If you hold any tokens and you connect your wallet, you'll be able to see a portfolio there on the portfolio section.
Okay, cool. Oh, that's awesome. See, I didn't even know that because I'm holding a few of these. So I should connect my wallet and then it'll create a thing for me to see all these
Yeah,
stats.
exactly how
And
much you earn.
that's really
Hold
cool. Nobody goes through this
for
much trouble. You guys have really,
Yeah, it's what I'm
it,
saying. Like you check out these
it's
other reward
elegant.
tokens. No,
It's
none of
thought
them
out,
have
elegant.
accelerators. None of them have like LP incentive.
No.
None of them have like yield farming. None of them have like a portfolio section. We actually try to deliver some value for Pulse Chain, and everything public, everything transparent. And yeah, your point about the front end is valid, but the protocols run without a front end. It's more maybe for the yield farming, but you can still access it from the block explorer if the front end were to go down, and even if the yield farming were to disappear, the protocols would still exist. The liquidity would just be more concentrated, maybe on the PLS pair, or
Oh, and then I guess I was going to ask you, this was new, the meme section. I don't remember that. So
Yeah,
what's
these
going,
are all like memes we experimented with. We launched. They all work perfectly as well. They're stakeable, so you can pair your LP on PulseX, and then you can create a stake, and they function more like hex type of like staking. Um,
so
uh,
Duo Jack. This is the first
yeah,
one.
these are these. I don't think they are like they got as much engagement from like the community, at least right now that we have our yield tokens. They were like pretty big before our
And
yield
who
tokens.
who came up with these? This one's
Us,
great. Sad can I love this Sad Keanu.
uh, Sadkiano is just a regular token. See if it just has it's not stakeable, although you can stake it
Okay.
on the yield farm, but it has
You're telling me
just a
no you're telling me hardly anyone
regular.
in the community has shown interest for this yet? That's crazy.
Yeah, I think the challenge with our ecosystem, is getting the word out, um, and there's opportunity. There's tons of opportunities. It's just people, getting together, giving a push, such as like you are helping out with like the video so that more people know about it. Um, we can only like everybody can only do so much, right? Obviously, some people can do a lot more than others. Some people have like the funds to invest. Some people have more like the skills to like do a YouTube. Some people have more like, okay, I'll develop a nice front end. And then some people is like good with the contract. Okay, I'll develop a badass contract that yields, and there's incentive for liquidity and burns.
Yeah.
So this is
You
all
did
like a
Pepe
testament to
Lauren?
like, pulse chain
That's great.
community achieve, right?
Yeah.
So it's all good code,
I
working
mean,
well.
I think it's creative too. Pepe Lauren, it's great.
Yeah,
Good job with that.
it's stakeable. You can stake and
You can
earn
stake this
yield.
one? Who's staking
Yeah,
this one? Where?
if you
Oh,
grow up, you can create a
so
stake. You can select your amount of Propel you hold, and you create a stake, and you'll be earning yield.
that's cool.
Um,
That's cool, man. Pepe Lauren. Wow. Okay. And then there was what did I miss?
our
Oh,
strongest
Fluffy.
tokens are
That's right.
obviously
Oh,
RFX,
Fluffy
PRX,
slippers. Okay.
Caviar. That's Fluffy. We did it in homage to Sami.
Yeah, Fluffy slippers. Okay. Is Sami promoting this one, or is he talking?
No, no, no. Sami doesn't promote like other projects unless he like probably bought it or something.
Got you. Yeah. Cool. Man, this is really amazing. I'm kind of like I feel lucky. Like I guess in some ways that like we're just discovering this and it's new because we're getting to enter early and be part of it from the
Yeah,
beginning. But at the same time, I'm like, how's like hardly anyone is talking about this because what you made is
a
absolutely
lot of people
incredible.
listen to
Like you guys have done
D
an
Root.
amazing job.
You know, a lot of people like a lot of the big influencers. They will talk about their bags, right?
Right.
Uh, Like, so like KDP is obviously going to show like earn protocol, right? Like B
Earn?
roots is going to show his tokens,
What's
and like
earn?
B roots is paid, right? Like
Okay, yeah.
if we wanted to be on B roots, we'd have to pay him, but we want people who who want to actually believe in the project, believe that there's like loyal people behind it, believe in like that the code is actually superior to a lot of the projects out there,
Yeah.
as there's no shadow of a doubt. Um, and then so yeah, you get like most of the people who are arriving, they'll listen to those influencers, people who like dig deeper. But like if people ever want to like set up like a fund, and like let's raise up some money, let's baby roots, see if that helps with the ecosystem, um,
I'm
or
I,
like some other
I'm a
influencer.
deep digger, man. I go deep.
From experience, I think word of mouth, getting to know your investors, getting to know who's in the project, who's behind the project, I think that creates a more lasting connection for the long run. Because we're not here to achieve like a pump and dump. We're not here to try to make like maybe like 30,000, 50,000, 100,000, whatever. Like, and then like destroy the token, right? We're here to create an ecosystem to help change the world. Like it's true crypto, true DeFi, decentralized. It's based on like people knowing what good code is, what true community is,
Hmm.
instead of getting a big pump and then abandoning it. We could create that like just a big pump, funnel everything into a single token, push as hard as we can, airdrop to some influencers and then
Right, right.
cash out and forget about it and do next. I don't think that's helping. I mean, it's creating some opportunity, but it's just it's enriching like the people who know like who know beforehand, who are actually like pushing it behind the scenes. I don't know, like we created this for the people, basically.
Yeah.
Whether people will want to adopt it or not. I mean, I think of things in the long run. Fiat is always going to be inflated. Fiat is always going to be worth less. Like 5, 10 years down the line, like that $1,000 you're spending right now is going to mean nothing. Maybe you'll be spending 10,000, the same as you'd spend like 1,000, because it's just going to get devalued, and it's going to be devalued faster and faster and faster. We're all seeing that. And then if you imagine that over the years, you have protocols that are burning more and more supply while paying you yield in the best currencies in the market, like PLS, PLSX, Hex, whatever is the coin you like or you believe in. And we know we have like that capability to enhance the ecosystem, add more features if we need to. For me, it's a no-brainer to get my like whatever I can save up every month or every week, and whatever my appetite or people's appetite is, and like I'll just buy up a little bit of PulseLauran. This is a scarce asset that I know it's going to be there, and whether people are trading it or not, I know like I'll be buying it and I'll be owning that liquidity, pushing up the price. So that's the way I think. I think very long term.
Okay. So you're buying consistently every month.
Yeah, the tokens I like, which I identify, um, definitely.
Cool, man.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, and we're doing like stuff to help. For example, we just launched recently, right? Like BWD, like since people were in
Is that
the hype of like
the meme?
Dick
That
with butt.
meme? Yeah, the do it,
Yeah,
but yeah.
so we launched butt with Dingleberry, which is kind of meme-ish.
Oh, I think I did see
But
that, but with Django
yeah,
Berry.
so but that is paired with our tokens. People buy up. There's some
Right.
trading going on. There's an opportunity for people to make money with like code that works. Um, people, it's generating transactions in our ecosystem as well. You know.
Cool, cool, cool. All right, man. Anything else you want
Yep.
to tell us? Anything you can think of?
No, I'm good. I think we
And
talked a lot actually, man.
yeah, we covered a lot of ground. Anything coming up that you're adding? Any special surprises we should anticipate?
No. So we've launched all these tokens. We what we notice is like Pulse Chain needs to like improve as a whole as a network, right? Like
Yeah.
we need to see like good price bump, see more people coming
Yeah,
in.
yeah. We're
But right
babies.
now, we feel like it's at a mature stage. It's a matter of like community doing the work and spreading the work and
We're
keep
still
buying these
crawling.
tokens. If there's more tokens that there's a demand for it,
Yeah.
we'll definitely launch. Actually, we're talking with another community actually recently, and they might want to launch like a token that yields solid X.
Ah,
Um, and we're talking, and but that will probably even if it's because sometimes we'll do like we might publish code for another community even though it's not on our website, but we'll find ways to airdrop it to the guild or or tie that token to one of our tokens so it helps strengthen that liquidity pool
is Solid
and
X
stuff like
solid? Is it a solid project?
it's a big project on Pulse Chain, right?
It's a
I
big
think
one,
it's
yeah.
one of the top ones.
Yeah, yeah, it exploded. What do you think Pulse is going to do? What kind of numbers do you think?
I
We're
think
still undersat.
I think I think people underestimate. I think people are like underestimating like what Pulse Chain can do in the long run. Um, for me, as I said, and to many people out there, Pulse Chain is still like a great chain to be in. There's tons of opportunities, tons of memes. There's very loyal people to the chain, and that's what you need. You don't once you have that, you know that there's always going to be people buying up that chain, and eventually, those whales that are kind of like suppressing the price, it's a matter of time. Those cells that will get eaten up,
Yeah.
and these whales they also change once they see like a significant price bump. Where like there's a lot of adoption coming in for whatever reason. Now these whales become bullish.
Hmm.
Uh, what we've mostly been seeing right now that's been making Pulse Chain, like suppressed in a way. It's like some whales just dumping the price.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
and
that's to be expected, I guess. Right now, just for the future, it's April 27th, 2024. I guess some people are either anticipating a global war or recession, or
Mhm.
so I guess people are de-risking, and it makes sense if there's big bag holders. Maybe they're worried. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think we have a war? Do you think this bull run continues? Do you think life goes
No,
on as
I think
normal?
it's bullish. I think it's bullish. I think, as I said, fiat is just getting. I don't try to time the market. I
No.
just DCA.
Okay.
So the way I see it is in the long run, no, my fiat is getting devalued as being worthless, year over year. And I have assets like Pulse X, like RFX, like VRX, and like Pulse, assets that I know will retain that value of my money, like
What about
way more.
Bitcoin?
And, it doesn't take much to move these prices, especially in
That's
our
true.
ecosystem since it's so small.
Yeah.
We get it's a protocol that's open to the globe, 24/7, 8 billion people. Whoever has access to a computer can access it. If they choose to buy it up, like thinking that we like over the course of like the years that we won't get hundreds of investors maybe willing to drop $1,000 or $500 into one of these tokens, that's all you need. It will like destroy the price to the upside, adding like 100K into any of these projects, and just that for anybody who's already in the project, it creates a massive opportunity for anybody to capture a decent profit. Same with Pulse. I mean, it would be bullish, man. Blockchain is just starting. I think there's just a general sentiment that Pulse chain wasn't what like those thousands of X's that everybody was yelling like nonstop, and I think that created a lot of like disappointment.
Yeah.
And but there's a lot of people who understand market dynamics, and they know sometimes price needs to go all the way down, like all the way down, wash out every like jeet, every like weekend, every seller, and then like the true holders take over.
Yeah.
It happens. It always seems like it's gonna be like when the price is going down. It always seems like it's like, okay, this is the end. This is the apocalypse, But it always goes back up, and it always goes back up. Look at Bitcoin; like it's almost $70,000 back again.
It is. What do you think of Bitcoin? Where do you think we're going to end this cycle? Is it going to 80K, 300K?
And I think we'll reach
bucks?
above 100K. I would not like be surprised, but
We might go above
I don't.
100K.
Bitcoin is getting into like it's at its end, like of like it will always keep rising
Yeah.
like over time because it's deflationary,
Right.
and fiat always gets printed more and more. But like the opportunity for like life-changing gains is on protocols such as Pulsechain. It's not Bitcoin anymore, right? It's not even Ethereum anymore, right? Ethereum, what are you gonna get? Like from 3,000, it's gonna go to 8,000, 10,000, or like it made like 300%, 200%. So, but ability to make like those like 10, 20, 50x, 100x, that all comes from like the smaller communities, right?
Yeah.
And we've seen that like RFX, like people who got in at launch, they did like 50x. VRX, like people who got in at launch, they did like good 20x. Like if you look at launch,
Oh, yeah, at the
like what these
launch, they
protocols.
pumped, yeah.
But yeah, you have to like capture some profits, right? At some point, like this is like what people should not be doing is buying on like the pump when like what a lot of people do, right? They buy on the very, very top, like they chase a green candle when everybody's talking about it. That's when they want to buy,
Right. And that's not the place, of course.
Yeah, it's hard to do, easy to say, hard to do. Yeah.
Cool, man.
What about you, Saint Wolf? What do you think about like before we close off? Because I know it's been like a long time. What do you think of like Pulse Chain, crypto, or Pulselorian even? What do you think we need to do to improve?
I think Pulselorian speaks for itself. It definitely impressed me, and I've been following it, and I think as more people talk about it, and the price appreciation is a lot right now. We touched on that earlier. So everyone's holding Pulse, and no one's thinking, well, I don't want to hold, earn more of whatever token because nothing's moving up, right? So everything's either sideways or been down. But as soon as pumps start coming in and PulseX starts running, because it's been burning, right? All of a sudden people are going to go, oh, this token allows me to earn more of that, and the interest in these projects come, and people will seek ways to earn more of them because right now also people don't know what the big runners are. There's speculation, like is it Pulse that's going to run? Is it
Yeah.
PulseX that's going to run?
Or, yeah, I also see it as like, let's say, PulseX has a big run, and now somebody has, 100K or 500K or 200K in their pocket, or million, whatever amount, but a decent amount. And they'll say, hey, why not get a 1%, maybe 5K, 10K, and now start dropping into like,
that's another part
the projects that are smaller.
For sure.
And that's where we benefit. And then having that sort of funds coming in, it could help a lot.
And I think for us who are into Pulse Chain, who have been sacked, who are hex stakers, whatever, we're already here. And we're looking for these things. But in terms of people from the outside, a lot of people, we forget there's still an SEC thing. And for a lot of people from the outside, they're just waiting for that to wrap up or something. And you may find that these projects, just people they're eyeing them right now. They're eyeing them right now. They just want to see this issue solved that's hanging over the whole ecosystem right now, which is the SEC versus Richard Hart. And once that wraps up, there may be a flood, not just to Pulse and PulseX and Hex. It just may flood into all these projects like crazy. Like suddenly, like overnight, literally, there's like a flood will just enter. And I think that's going to happen. I really believe that. There's people watching Pulselorian right now who are just like waiting for this lawsuit or some to see it move in the right direction to to jump in. That could be part of it too. But yeah, pumps are going to change things. But we may have more time to wash out just kind of what's happening in general. It's hard to say what this cycle is going to do. People have been talking about left translated for some while, but there's too much consensus on that too. We may just have a double cycle, which is something I thought of, where we have this first cycle. Everyone thinks, oh, we just had a small cycle, but then it kicks back in after whatever issues that they cook up for us next, and then we run again. So we have actually like this first early cycle, but then we have another second half that's delayed that could happen. Something nobody would expect. Because if we hit all-time high before the halving, the next half is going to be a surprise too, of course. Something.
Definitely.
But Pulse is gonna shock people. I really believe this. It's gonna.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so too. Otherwise, I mean, I don't see any reason to sell Pulse. I see reasons to buy Pulse. It's still the best, risk reward ratio, like best narrative, best community, best tech.
100%.
The only
100%.
thing that I think could be better with Pulse is like Block Explorer. Like I think could be better. Like Pulse X, I think is a little bit buggy. Could be like sometimes could be a little bit better, but it's still perfectly usable and like there's no problem.
No problems.
And there's plenty of other exchanges, 9-inch, 9mm.
Yeah.
But it's a good ecosystem. Compare it against all other. I compare it against like Avalanche, Polygon, like Solana, like Coinbase, like all these Arbitrum. Like I don't see it like missing anything in comparison to those ecosystems. I actually think we have better stuff than they have.
Yeah.
Like cheaper fees, better, more decentralized, better founder, like better memes, more loyal type of community.
100%.
So
100%.
It's good. I like Pulsechain, man. Like, and I'm die hard. I'm fighting for freedom of speech. I'm fighting for freedom of the fiat system. I'm not here to I mean, obviously, cashing out profits. Everybody does that, but I'm here to like stay in crypto for the long run. It's not like, okay, I made $1 million and now I'm goodbye crypto, never touch it again. No, it's like, it's like make sure to like we get out of this fiat system because that's what's the most messed up thing.
Yeah. I think there's events probably that haven't happened yet that will be catalysts to that will drive interest into Pulsechain, and the people that have created it and thought it through for many years, I've no doubt this has been cooking even pre-Hex. They've seen some of these catalysts, and we don't see them yet. So we're just wondering, price go up, but we don't understand that there's just certain things that just haven't happened that they're anticipating, and those are going to set off the catalysts that are going to, and we're going to go, oh, and all of a sudden we were just there waiting, so to speak. Whether that be regulation, whether that be, who knows? We don't know what those catalysts are going to be. Who knows? I really don't know. But something, or I mean, just BlackRock or Wall Street entering Bitcoin, it's not so positive as we think, and we don't know how they're going to manipulate it going forward. So we may end up just being the best game in town and the safest place to be, actually.
Yeah, because it's RH made sure that it's decentralized, right?
Yeah.
People can run the Block Explorer, the exchange from a file on their PC, and that's the best.
Yeah,
like the bridge.
I think that's key, and that's why I also wanted to know, your perspective on all that. Yeah, because that's a big deal.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, like they could shut down the front end. Doesn't matter. People already have the files. They can have like multiple front ends. Those files. It's kind of like the only thing is like just make sure you download one of these files from a trusted source. Because if you're downloading like an executable, into your PC,
I was nervous at first. I really was. It kind of scared the living daylights out of me at first, and then I talked to some people on Twitter and different things, and people kind of like that knew understood it better, kind of calmed me down. I was like, oh, oh, this, and then now I realize it was a genius move. It's brilliant.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was a good move, definitely.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Yep.
man, Pulselorian, it was just amazing talking to you, and thanks for taking your time to go through the whole entire system and what you guys do. It's really
No,
gorgeous, man.
thank you for letting me share, letting us share a Pulselorian on your platform. And yeah, it's like
Anytime, man.
one thing is rest assured is no, we're here for the long run. Nobody is here to abandon front end. If we were to do so, we would already have done it like a long time ago. Because being with Pulsechain has not been an like easy, smooth road, right? It's
No,
been
it's
like
not been
filled
easy.
with challenges and delays and like
Yeah.
expectations not being fulfilled. So we would have, just said like, yeah, it's not worth our time. It's like, but instead we've done the opposite. We just kept building, kept like creating cool stuff, and now we have like really great ecosystem. It's a matter of people using it, adopting it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we should touch base again and see where things are
Definitely.
playing out as the pulse starts rocketing back up.
Yep.
Yeah, man. How should
Sounds good.
people are people allowed to reach out to you, and how should they get in touch with you?
Yeah, as I said, I'm always available for anybody who wants to talk about crypto, Pulse Chain, and I'm just here to try to promote, good code, good crypto,
Yeah,
because it's like a space which is like so scammy, man, so scammy. It's like 99% is just like you're in the hands of whales. You're gonna get rug pulled. You're gonna approve a contract that's gonna drain your wallet. You're gonna
yeah,
connect to a website that's gonna drain your wallet. You're gonna have money caught up on a centralized exchange, and people. But we do have like tech that could change the world, right? It could like
yeah,
obliterate like the fiat system, and if people choose to like fight together, like people choose to unite, and people choose to make a stance with their financial capital, like their voice, right? And Pulsechain is the place for that, man. It's true cypherpunk movement.
yeah,
We're standing for freedom of speech, freedom to transact, freedom of like nobody being able to, confiscate our funds. But with freedom comes responsibility, right? We have to do the work ourselves. We have to push the good products ourselves. We have to make sure we know how to securely connect like to our hardware wallets, securely store our crypto, securely navigate this space. It's just going to get harder like as like technology progress. I feel like there's going to be people that are going to be left behind, and there's going to be people that are going to change their lives,
yeah,
and because there's a ton of opportunity, right? World is completely connected. You launch a contract, it's overnight. Boom, like 200K in liquidity. Boom, 500K in liquidity. It's always overnight. Like things are happening at an exponential rate, and like you see on Twitter, like more and more like people like from all walks of life, connected and realizing this is fucked up. People print money out of thin air, and then you work and you get taxed, and then you don't see like any of that money like go into your wallet, and then you see money leave to another country to finance a war. It's just effed up, man. We should not have to like people should be able to have a more fair playing system where the current is not being like debased and inflated, and this is what like we stand for. It's like fiat system. It needs to come to like a breaking point where people wake up and see, hey, we have good code that works. It's going to last forever on a good chain that is decentralized and nobody can shut down. So let's start voting with our voices to do that. And yeah, and I don't care if like I don't uh, like succeed, but at least I'll be trying,
yeah,
to like do the right thing, and not like just like just accept all of this like stuff that's happening in the world. It's just it's bonkers.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
hefty.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, thank you, Saint Wolf. Don't want to take any more of your time, man.
No, thank you, man. We'll do it again
Thank you.
soon. Take care.
You too, man.
All
Take
right.
care.
Cheers.
Bye. Cheers.